Spinning roller coasters have been around since the early 1900s, but they exploded in popularity from the late 1990s onward. Multiple manufacturers started to debut spinning Wild Mouse coasters. Then manufacturers such as Gerstlauer, Mauer, and Mach started to develop more complex layouts. The latter even began putting their spinning cars in extreme thrill coasters. In this video, I will rank the best 25 spinning roller coasters I have personally experienced. Before I start, 4 notes. 1. This will include coasters with both a free or controlled spin. 2. I will be including some rides that operate with special spinning cars on the ends of the train. 3. I will not be including Space Fantasy at Universal Studios Japan. When I experienced this coaster, it was operating with a Final Fantasy VR overlay, so the park disabled the spinning, which is really unfortunate because I heard the original version was super disorienting and had some great effects. 4. I will only include coasters that use the spin to aid thrill elements. This will exclude the suspended Mach-powered coasters that use it more for show scenes and visuals. Number 25. Spin Runway at Yomiuri Land. This is an indoor spinning coaster from Gerstlauer. It has an odd theme around a fashion factory. The ride starts off with this long spiral lift hill with a Flappy Bird-esque video game. Then the main layout has some solid turns and helixes in the dark. This one did not spin as much as rides higher on this list, but the aforementioned game and quirky theming elevate it. Number 24. Insider at Wiener Prater. This is another indoor spinning coaster, this time from Mauer. This basically is their standard Wild Mouse layout, just with spinning cars. You get good spins around the hairpin turns. Then the experience is plus mightily by electronic dance music and all these laser lights. It is sensory overload. There are some sudden trims though that hurt the pacing, and they can cause you to bash into the side of the car. Number 23. Han Cotton at Bon Bon Land. This Gerstlauer creation has an identical layout to some of their bobsled coasters. This one is okay in a balanced car, but it's downright wild in an off-balanced car. You spin ferociously in the helixes in the first 2/3. Then the final bunny humps offer some surprising airtime you cannot see coming. Number 22. Tom and Jerry's Swiss Cheese Spin at Warner Bros. World Abu Dhabi. This is an enclosed Imperla spinner with a twister layout. The main portion is very disorienting between the spin and oversized blacklit decorations. Then the finale is oddly the most intense part of the ride. While you're parked on the brake run, the cars are forced to spin like a top. So this is one ride where I actually hoped it stacked. Number 21. Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens Tampa. This is a weird one from Mach. The first third has no spinning. The second third is a slow helix going backwards. Then the final third is the highlight, as the vehicles finally spin freely and fast. You navigate some cool horseshoe turns and then dive through some trenches. Along with the ride that gets progressively stronger, you have some nice theming such as a giant cobra at the start. Number 20. Cagliostro at Magic Land. This is an indoor installation from Mauer. This ride has a similar layout to their SC2000 coasters, meaning it has a large, great swooping drop at the start and then some sharp turns, but this one is plussed by a pitch black setting and minimal braking, so it feels out of control. Number 19. Rush's Coaster at Walt Disney Studios. This is another indoor SC2000 coaster from Mauer. This one spins just as much as the prior ride, but this one is plussed by some music and lighting effects during the main layout. Then, there's a brief but cute dark ride section at the start themed to Finding Nemo. Number 18. Dwervelwind at Toverland and Twist at Lapal. This is a well-rounded spinner from Mach. This one has a fast-paced layout with some moderately forceful turns and a few small pops of airtime. And it's hard to tell where you'll go next between the plentiful spinning, constant turns, and the abundant landscaping. Number 17. Joker at Six Flags Mexico. This is the same layout as Han Cotton, but this one is plussed by some theming. The main layout passes some items, and the finale takes place in a disorienting tunnel. This makes the already immense spinning even crazier. Then as a bonus, the end of the queue features a funhouse that feels like an attraction in itself. It contains all sorts of floor gags. Number 16, Gekion Live Coaster at Tokyo Joypolis. This is probably the weirdest Gerstlauer spinner. The first half is a Guitar Hero-like video game using buttons on your restraint. The second half is a coaster that starts off with a sudden launch and then a super slow barrel roll. This offers loads of hang time, which is bizarre and awesome when you're rotating. Then the layout finishes with some fine helixes in the dark. Number 15, Euromir at Europa Park. This is an odd coaster from Mack. It starts with a spiral lift hill in the dark. Your car slowly spins as techno music booms. Then, you head outdoors for some slow turns around some mirrored columns, which is pretty trippy. Then your rotation locks for the high-speed portion. The turns and helixes offer very strong positive Gs, which is particularly powerful in reverse. The coaster is rough around the edges though, and it could use a retrack. Number 14, Spinball Whizzer at Alton Towers. This is a custom Mauer spinner. This one has some sizable drops and fun turns. There are a lot of mid-course breaks, but they thankfully don't sap too much speed, and this one tends to spin a lot. Number 13, Tarantula at Parque de Atracciones de Madrid. This is another custom one from Mauer. This one is uniquely placed on a hill, so there are some larger drops taking advantage of that setting. They have a lot of zip to them. The finale does mellow out a bit, but the spin helps compensate for this. Number 12, Sierra Sidewinder at Knott's Berry Farm, and likely Storm Chaser at Paulton's Park. This is another Mack layout with some deceptive oomph. The initial drops have some good pull in the back, and then the ride goes nuts in the second half. You have a very forceful and disorienting low turn, followed by some rapid turns and transitions into the brake run. Number 11, Uncharted at PortAventura. This is an Intamin multi-dimension coaster. It is half dark ride, half coaster, but the vehicles can spin throughout, which gets particularly disorienting given how much of this coaster takes place in the dark. The ride is not too forceful for the most part, but the series of launches have some nice punch to them, and there are some cool effects. As for theming, the main layout has some screens. Then the queue is extensively themed with an animatronic and some haunt-like corridors. Number 10, Turbulence at Adventureland, and also its clones. This Mack installation is super compact, but it's a peppy ride. The initial drop is solid, as is the following horseshoe turn. Then this ride gets stronger as it goes. The spinning gets faster and faster, the turns get tighter, and also whippier. The final helix in particular has a lot of force, and it messes with your equilibrium. Number 9, Dragon's Fury at Chessington World of Adventures. This is a Mauer spinner. The weight requirement kills the capacity, but it frequently leads to off-balance cars. This leads to very fast spinning. This complements an already strong layout. You sprawl about the land of the dragons, navigating a mix of sizable and sudden drops. This one also has a lot of brake runs and lift hills, but they're brief and not too disruptive. Number 8, Spider-Man Doc Ock's Revenge at IMG Worlds of Adventure. This is an enclosed clone of Sierra Sidewinder. You have the same great pacing and forces, but the experience is considerably more disorienting in a darkened room. I lose all sense of direction on this one. Number 7, Tornado at Bakken. This Intamin spinner looks like a family coaster, but it has a mean streak to it. The lift hill is basically a launch, and you are violently thrown over the first drop. It has some brutally intense airtime and laterals. The rest of the layout feels like a family spinner earlier in the list, in most cases, but in boost mode, the experience is utter chaos. The vehicles spin like a top start to finish, yielding ridiculous centripetal forces. Few rides leave me truly dizzy, but this experience certainly did. Number 6. Vinjas at Phantasialand. This Mauer indoor spinner has 2 separate and different tracks. Each side has some zippy drops. Then you can see a series of turns and helixes that get the cars spinning fast. But what makes this coaster truly special are a series of tricks hidden from view. I don't want to spoil them, but this coaster does some unique things that'll catch first-timers completely off guard. Number 5. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. This is the last indoor spinner on this list, and it's the best themed of the bunch. You have multiple pre-shows with big-name actors. Then the coaster takes place in a giant show building with a starfield effect, giant screens, physical props, and onboard audio. Then the coaster, provided by Vekoma, is a long and dynamic experience. There are some airtime-filled dips and decently forceful turns, aided by a controlled spin that allows them to all hit differently. Number 4. Steel Titan at Dreamworld. This is a near clone of Europa Park's Bluefire, but Mach put a spinning seat in the back row. We spun at a slower rate than the other extreme spinners higher in this list, but it was still a treat experiencing those airtime hills and floaty inversions, sideways or backwards. Then the final barrel roll feels like a pseudo-Mosasaurus roll, and it's uber intense if you spin on through it. Number 3. Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. The prototype Mach Extreme Spinner has a unique location on a hill. This results in a vertical drop directly out of the station. That is one of the world's best plunges in the back car. Then the layout has some other nice airtime moments and fun inversions, particularly the slower ones that offer hang time. The ride has good pacing, but the ones ahead of it have great pacing. Number 2. Enzo at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Icon is a good Mach multi-launch coaster, but the spinning back seat known as Enzo is exceptional. This makes the twisted, convoluted layout feel completely out of control. Combined with all the visuals, it is an incredible experience. You have all sorts of airtime hills, and a wonderful hang-time-filled barrel roll. Then the ride's weakest points, such as the launch and finale, offer the strongest spinning, so the experience never relents. And coming in number 1 is Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland, Japan. This Mach Extreme Spinner is amazing. This ride offers the strongest airtime of any ride in this list. I love how you are violently launched upwards on the top hat in the final few hills. Then the inversions are special. I absolutely love the hang time on the JoJo roll and the double dive loop. Both seemingly last forever, and with how consistent the spin is on this one, no 2 rides are ever the same. It is chaos start to finish, and the EDM soundtrack amps you up along the way. Those are my 25 favorite spinning roller coasters I have personally experienced. What is your favorite spinning coaster? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.